and welcome into the most fun, at least, racing show on the air. Gaughan Racin, Brendan Gaughan, Jeff Motley are your two lovely and talented hosts.
I'm not sure. I think we're 0 for 2 in that.
But we are still professionally unprofessional.
We are that.
We have more fun, and we have so much fun.
We do have fun. There's no question we have fun.
Absolutely. And what was fun was this weekend, we had, of course, Jeff, our home track race this weekend, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. To say that Dorothy and Toto flew away on Saturday might be an understatement.
Saturday was a little bit of a challenge with the wind, but Sunday was a beautifully glorious day, sunny day in Las Vegas, a perfect early March afternoon.
It was nice. We had a great day, great race, and an absolutely phenomenally dominant day by our buddy Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Larson is kind of, this has sort of become a home away from home from him. I mean, he is a California kid, so it is kind of like a home track
Popular
for him.
win. The crowd was going.
Oh, it was incredibly
loved
popular win. It's 2 in a row in Las Vegas. That's his 3rd career win in Las Vegas. And I think he certainly served notice that, guess what? Who's the guy to beat to win the championship right now? How many 1.5-mile tracks do we have on the schedule?
We got a lot.
And you got to come back to Las Vegas again in the fall.
And Hendrick Motorsports, I mean, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, they have some phenomenal stats here as of late. Remember back in the day that we used to say Las Vegas Motor Speedway was Jack Roush Racing, right? That was
Roush and the Fords, you're right.
Guess what? It is not any longer. It is right now dominated by not just Chevrolets, but the Hendrick Chevrolets. Phenomenal day for them.
It was a phenomenal day for them. But I tell you one thing that was pretty cool is seeing your top 3 finishers. We had a Chevy, we had a Toyota, and we had a Ford, which really shows that everybody can run well in Las Vegas. I think there's a lot of people coming in that said outside of Byron and Larson, I think they really thought the Toyotas were going to come in and be really, really strong. There were some really good Toyotas. I mean, we saw that with Tyler Reddick put a lot of pressure on Larson. Ty Gibbs, Truex, Hamlin. I mean, a lot of guys in Toyotas, and they're running well.
But let's talk for a second on the general, and this is betting side also. Last season, I was on that Chase Elliott bandwagon, right? I looked at you how many times, Jeff, and said, I'm going to bet on Chase. He's no way he doesn't win this year. When it's only 3 races in, and really you could say Vegas is the first real race of the season, how many races do we give Chase Elliott before Mr. H has to do something?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to look at Phoenix this week, but I'll tell you one thing, and I know we'll talk about the upcoming schedule, but the week after Phoenix, they're going to Austin to Circuit of the Americas. And if Chase Elliott is not one of the guys to beat or in contention at Austin, then I think there's going to be a lot of people shaking their heads because I don't understand it. I mean, we know he's a talented driver. We know that car is very good, and we see his teammates, Kyle Larson and William Byron, running so well, and Bowman's not running poorly.
They're both in the play right now. They're both in the playoffs. I mean, remember years ago when we used to say Kevin Harvick was slumping? I looked at you and say, "Yeah, I would have killed to have that slump in his career." But same thing. I mean, right now Chase Elliott's 8th in points, Alex Bowman 13th in points. But when it comes to talking about are they actually a factor in these races, they are not. And their 2 teammates are absolutely a factor in every race.
You know what's amazing when you look at, and we don't. This is not a stat that we're really going to talk about today, but. Joey Logano and Chase Elliott both have gone more than 30 races without a win now.
Joey Logano has?
I believe he's at 30 or 31 races now without a win. I think I saw that the other day. I think Chase is at about 34 races since his last win. Chase obviously missed a number of races last year, but he didn't get a win last year. So there are some guys that really I do find it somewhat perplexing that they've gone as long as they have without getting a W.
No, it's definitely. I wonder when is Chase Elliott going to break this? Because Hendrick, if I'm sitting there right now and I'm Chase or Alex Bowman, I'm scratching my head because we all don't drive the same cars. We don't have the same feel. We do drive the same cars, but we don't all drive the same setup, right? Everybody has to have their own feel. But right now, your 2 buddies over there are kicking everybody's butt, and you're sitting here in a conundrum of, man, we finished 12th. I would have loved to have finished 12th, but that's not what Hendrick expects, especially with how well they're running.
And I think that it's perplexing because, again, I talked about the driver in the car. We also know he's got a very good crew chief.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't – and look, obviously, if you and I could figure it out, they'd be able to figure it out. And it's not like they're not spending probably every waking minute of every day trying to figure out how do we get back on track. And I do think that when he does break through, then we could see him go on a streak where he wins 4 out of 7 races or something like that.
Once Chase Elliott figures it back out, Chase Elliott will. That's what I was saying last year. Once he does it, he's going to. Absolutely, I don't believe he's going to back into one win and then, be a lilting Willie, lilting
Willie or wilting Lily.
Lily.
I get what you're.
That was impressive on that one. But he's definitely going to be there once he gets there. It's starting to be questionable about what they got to do to get that right. But let's talk about who did do it right. We said Kyle Larson and Better Health 400 winner, plus 400 to win the race. Odds on favorite last week by a large number.
I know a lot of people who won. It didn't win big money. But a lot of people who won money on Kyle Larson last week.
He was plus 110 for a top 3. He was minus 160 on a head-to-head versus Byron, rightfully so. He was plus 120 for the Chevrolets. And his opening line hasn't moved a lot. He was already one of the preseason favorites at plus 600. He is now a plus 500, which, honestly, if you want Kyle Larson, I'd only see that number.
It's not going to go worse than plus 500. It's just the rest of the regular season, it is not going to go any worse.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we always say this is how you do a nice job of hedging your bet and looking ahead. But here's the deal. I don't think at plus 500, I think that unless he gets hurt this season, unless he misses 20 races, Kyle Larson is going to keep getting smaller and smaller for a championship.
Kyle Larson, William Byron are the two guys that you are not going to see their odds get any better.
Yeah.
I mean, they are what they are. In fact, Larson goes on a run here, and that number is even going to drop to plus 400 or plus 350 before you know it.
It's going to keep happening. Top 10, Kyle Larson, of course, we said was plus 400, plus 110. Tyler Reddick, heck of a run at the end of that race, plus 275.
I think Tyler Reddick may have passed every car 3 or 4 times because
except the one that mattered.
He got up there, and then something would happen. And he'd get up there, and then something would happen.
Bad pit stops. And they talked about that. The Gibbs camp has a lot to talk about. Plus 275 for him, plus 260 for Ryan Blaney. But how about some names here? Ty Gibbs with a solid top 5. Noah Gragson with a 6th place finish. That was not expected out of Noah. Great early season run for that Stewart Haas team, and Noah Gragson kind of taking the reins over there as
Stewart Haas.
Stewart Haas.
I was going to say, it looks like he's probably the guy right now. He's certainly look. He had a great run at Daytona. Atlanta, he had no shot because he gets turned around like on lap 2, and it had nothing to do with it. Then he gets the penalty from Atlanta, which was a double shot in the arm. But then
because he's got 9 points now.
But now he gets a 6th place finish. So this is 2 out of 3 races. He's had a top 10. The confidence that he's obviously starting to feel, getting back in the seat. And, I spent a little bit of time with him on Friday, and I just see a new, re-energized Noah. I mean, I think he's having fun. I think he appreciates where he is right now.
He should,
and I'm glad to see that.
And he absolutely should. That's good to hear. You look at that top 10, though. I mean, I like you talked about Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford top 3. Then it's a Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford in 4, 5, 6. Then it's a Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet. I mean, talk about parity in the sport. Really tough when it comes down to picking our prop bet every week, the race, the winner, manufacturer winner. That's a tough bet to pick every week if it's going to be like this.
And kudos to William Byron.
Oh, hell of a comeback.
I mean,
hell of a comeback.
He gets the largest trash bag in the history of mankind on the front of his car.
Do you know what else they found?
And apparently a beer can was in the grill.
He had a beer can. He got a beer can. It went into the air intake. So he was running that race with a beer can stuck inside the intake. You can't make this up, folks. You want some news right there?
You want to know if it was windy in Las Vegas last weekend? It was windy in Las Vegas.
Beer can stuck in the air intake, and still came home in a top 10 after being down a lap, after holding on.
I thought it was funny. Rudy Fugel said afterwards. He even said, "And if you need to know, it was a Coors Light."
did he say what?
He said we had a silver bullet in our grill.
Yeah, I mean that was just unbelievable. What a way to overcome. And still, back to the point of Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman, still beat Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. 12.
And they did not have a trash bag.
They did not have a trash
wrapped
bag
around the front of
or
their
a
car.
silver bullet stuck in there. They still call it silver bullet, or are we just showing our age?
Maybe a little bit of both. I'm not really sure. By the way, I want to say something real quick about our drivers though. With all 3 races, Kyle Larson in the Cup race, John Hunter Nemechek won Xfinity race, and then Rajah Caruth got his first career win ever in the truck race. All 3 of those guys, and if you've ever been to Vegas, our victory lane's out in the middle of the Neon Garage, surrounded by fans. All 3 of those guys spent an unbelievable amount of time leaving victory lane, signing autographs for fans and engaging with fans. And I just thought all three of those guys were complete class acts. And I was very happy for all three of them.
JHN absolutely is, so that doesn't surprise me. I'm glad to hear Roger Carruth because first win, you never know how I get that. That's great to hear. And then Kyle Larson, with all the wins he's got, he's still that way.
He spent more time than anybody.
His kid on the roof, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, his kid running out. I'm always scared those kids are going to go running out there before the cars stop.
While he's still doing donuts.
Or something like that. That scares me a little bit. But.
All right, well, let's start moving forward a little bit here. We got the next 5 races, of course, is this week, as everybody that's a NASCAR fan knows, this is one of the most important early season races because where do we hold the championship race? Phoenix. And the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix, this is your prelude to that race at the end of the year. So everybody comes really loaded to bear here. Then, of course, Food City 500 at the non-dirt Bristol Motor Speedway, Echo Park Texas Grand Prix, Circuit of the Americas, then off to the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond, and then the Cookout 400 at Martinsville.
A lot of short tracks with a road course thrown in the middle.
There you go.
So
I was just sitting there
we're not
going
to be running very fast for the next few weeks.
Yeah, but I see a lot of carnage coming in when you go Bristol, Circuit of the Americas, that restart at COTA is absolutely unbelievable how they do the restart. So phenomenal to watch.
This is also going to be a really good test for the new short track package. I mean, if these guys can't get it figured out by the time they get to Martinsville,
then they're in trouble.
I mean, you're talking about 4 out of 5 races with the short track package. Let's figure this thing out.
Now, we got some guys at Vegas, though, that have been pretty stout. And when you look at these numbers, Kyle Busch, we circle how many times in a row do we circle Kyle Busch? 37 races, 26, Jeff. 26 top 10s in 36 races at Phoenix.
That's
Kevin Harvick numbers. I mean, you don't realize it.
That is absolutely remarkable to see those kind of numbers. You're right. There's certain guys who just take to this kind of racetrack, and Kyle Busch is one of them. But we also got some guys who have not been racing quite as long who are pretty good there too.
No, and actually, I think I had that wrong. It was 16 and 30. There's Denny Hamlin, the 26 and 37. All right. We'll get back to that. We'll give you all the rest of our stuff when we come back on Gaughan Racing. We'll get into our picks to win and top 3s.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah. I am beautiful. And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
When I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind Racin sportsbooks. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sportsbook, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back into Gaughan Racing. Jeff, we were just leaving out on guys that were hot and not, basically, or just hots at Las Vegas. We mentioned Kyle Busch there. There's one on our list, though, on that screen that is not shown, and that is Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, Jeff, in the last 10 races. Now, Kevin Harvick is the number 1 point getter in the last 10.
We're throwing Harvick out because he's in the booth.
Harvick's gone.
He's not in the car.
Ryan Blaney, 7 top 5s in the last 10 races. And you ready for talking about what have you done for me lately? fourth, second, and the second place won in the championship in the last round.
And I'm not sure he couldn't have won that race in the fall, but I think he had his crew chief saying, hey, big picture, big picture, big picture. Big picture was win the championship. Don't race too hard with Ross Chastain where you completely ruin the chance to win the championship.
Don't get into a pissing match you don't need to get into a pissing match over.
Exactly. And so I think he played it very smart last year. And look, the fact that he hasn't gotten to victory lane yet at Phoenix, to me, that one's going to happen. I think he has I tell you, if I'm betting a guy to win, and I got to bet somebody to win this week, I'm going Blaney.
Nope, I can't dislike that. And the guy that beat him in the last race, Ross Chastain, second, third, then a bad race, 24th, and first. So Chastain also a track that he has been very, very good at lately. Well, let's get to the odds to win this race because that's what we're here to really talk about. And our favorite, once again, who started off last week as the favorite, not quite as big, but still the favorite. Kyle Larson, plus 700. William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Ross Chastain, all at plus 800. Denny Hamlin, double digit for Denny. Denny, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., all at 10-1. You got Kyle Busch, 12. Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano at 14. You got Tyler Reddick up there at 18-1. Chase Elliott, 18-1. And then Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski, those that are on the podcast, get to see these numbers. Jeff, Denny Hamlin? Denny Hamlin?
Well, I think I'm a little surprised that he's 10-1. But here's the other thing with Denny. I mean, Denny's made 37 starts at Phoenix. He's only won twice.
Yeah, but
so what I'm saying
other than Kevin Harvick, find somebody that's really that much better.
What I'm saying is, though, these are odds to win. Now, Denny runs well, but Denny, it's not like he's gone out there and knocked down the checkered flag a bunch like Harvick did. Now, maybe part of that is because Kevin Harvick was on the racetrack taking checkered flags. So I think that 10-1 is I'm okay with that on Denny Hamlin. I'm a little surprised. Like, I know Kyle Larson, it's reputation, but I mean, Kyle Larson, I mean, he was okay here last year. I mean, he finished third or fourth, I think it was, in the fall race. But I just, plus 700, making him the favorite. I'm not sure. I think Blaney would be my favorite right now. And Chastain at plus 800, and we know how hard he runs.
Listen, I like, and Blaney at plus 800. I mean, look, Blaney.
And, there's another guy up there where I believe desperation sometimes makes you better. Christopher Bell, he's off to a rough start this year.
And Christopher Bell is also very good there.
And he's very good there.
Kyle Larson, ready for this? The last 10 races, 9 top 10s.
But we're talking about odds to win.
Third, fourth, ninth, first, seventh, fourth, led laps, led 107 laps.
Was the championship.
And
he won the championship.
Look, those things. But you say Christopher Bell, that's one that I do kind of like. Chris does not have as many starts. 4 top 10s in 8 starts. Seabell, and what's funny is we talk about Seabell being so good at places. Ninth, and 6th are his 3 best, and that's 2021 was a couple of those.
Well, and then last year, remember, he was in the playoffs. He was 1 of 4, and I think he blew a tire and he hit the wall, and that pretty much ended his day
right off the bat. So that one, he was 6th in this race. The spring race last year at this one. So not some bad numbers there, but let's get to the second page because I think there might be a couple guys with an outside shot here, even though their numbers are really, really pretty big. Chase Briscoe is not the guy I'm talking about. Chase Briscoe, 20-1.
Who is a former Phoenix winner. In fact, his only career win, I believe, came
at Phoenix. Alex Bowman, 30-1. Bubba Wallace, 50. Josh Berry, 80. And then Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Preece, Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Michael McDougal. I love calling him McDougal. He's my buddy. He's 100-1. Austin Cindric, Carson Hocevar, and John Hunter at 200, and the field at 20-1. Once again, another race. The South Point puts the field, and I think you could put it at 5,000-1, and I would still be okay having that number up there. You have all the guys that I think are going to win. You mentioned Chase Briscoe. We know this is Chase's only win, but I'm looking down that list. There's something about Alex Bowman. This is his home track. Do you remember when he ran for filled in for Junior way back in the day?
He almost won the race,
Bowman's not running well. In the last 10 races, he's only got 1 top 10. I get it. But if there's a racetrack that, you got to get ahead of the curve, right? As good as Hendrick has been, is this the racetrack that you put Alex Bowman back in and you get a massive number at 30-1 on him?
Possibly, but there's a name.
You want to see it first?
I do want to see it first. The one who's jumping out at me on this, now again, it's a long shot, but you're telling me a guy who has a win this year, a guy whose teammate won this race last year, is sitting here at 100 to 1. Okay, now if he was 30 to 1, 100 to 1, a triple-digit number on Daniel Suarez. Now, I'm just saying, if you want to take a flyer, that's a flyer worth taking.
Look, he's finished 9th here. He's been good. He was 11th in the playoff race last year. He's been good in the Xfinity Series.
He's been
at this
better
track.
than 100 to 1.
He is definitely better than 100 to 1. I will give you that. He's way better than 100 to 1. There is 2 on that page that I would look at and say that if you're looking for the flyer, they got massive numbers behind him at the South Point. I do like those 2. Are they going to win? Their odds are that way for a reason, but there's 2 that I think have the opportunity on that, and it is Bowman and Suarez.
And one other name on there, and I'm not picking him to win, but I just want to commend him for how well he did last week. Carson Hocevar drove a heck of a race and won his group last week.
Did he?
In Las Vegas. In fact, I think it cost you a group by 1 position.
He finished 15th.
And that was a good run for him, and he won his group.
No, listen, for that, normally if we talk about Spire, we're always talking about Corey LaJoie. I mean,
he was also having a good run, and then spun out. Whether it was Keselowski's fault or not, I don't know.
But that's a good run for that 15 team. Nice job, Carson. I didn't notice that.
Like, he won his group, and I realized that when I was figuring up the things. I said, Brendan lost that one by 1 position.
1 position.
Yeah. I can't remember who you had, but 1 position.
Austin Dillon. Okay, let's get to the odds for the top 3. Top 3s, again, your favorite is going to be Kyle Larson at plus 160. Ryan Blaney is plus 185. William Byron at 200. Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, 260s. Kyle Busch, 285. Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano, all 330s. Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, 4. Chase Elliott, plus 500. Chris Buescher, 7, with Chase Briscoe right there with him. Brad K, 750, and then finish out the first page with Bubba Wallace at 10 to 1. Look, we get the number smaller, but I still go down to that same range that we were talking about. That Ross Chastain at 260, that, even Denny Hamlin 260, that's a good return for a top 3.
Those 3 right there, Chastain, Hamlin, Busch. Actually, I'm honestly going to take that whole list of 5 there. Chastain and Hamlin at 260, Busch at 285, and then Bell and Truex at 330. Like, I think this is kind of the week where would not surprise me to see Truex run well.
One win last 10 races, 3 top 5, 6 top 10s.
And a top 3 for Truex, because again, Truex is a guy that you can see getting a top 3. He won't overdrive his race car. Like if he says, you know what, I got a 3rd place car, Martin Truex Jr. is going to finish third place with his 3rd place car.
Yeah, he does not overdrive, but that's one thing he's done. He's learned to finish where he needs to finish.
He's not going to give up a top 3 trying to go for the win and end up 35th.
Yep.
So 330, that's a pretty good number.
I like those a lot. And on the other side, Chris Buescher finished the year so strong last year. I mean, look, he blew the tire this last week, had the tire fall off and all that. But last year, how he was so strong all of a sudden, middle of the year at all the different tracks. And Fords are definitely better this year. We've seen that. So that's a good number for Chris Buescher, even if you're looking for an outside shot on this first side of things. He finished 5th in the playoff race last year. So looked pretty good there.
Absolutely. And I think when you look at some of those guys maybe on that second column over there, Ty Gibbs, a guy at plus 400 who had a good run last week in Las Vegas, and the Toyotas are going to be good, I believe. And I think he is, he's got his 2nd year now. I kind of picked him to be my breakout driver for this year, and I think a plus 400, that's pretty good. And he looks like another guy who's trying to bring his car home where it should come home. And I think he did that by having a top 5 at Las Vegas last week and not overdriving the race car.
And he's got 2 third-place finishes in the 3rd place in this spring race last year. On the second page, it kicks off with Alex Bowman at plus 850, and then a big drop in the top 3s. Big drop. We go from a plus 850 to an 18 to 1 at Noah Gragson. Josh Berry, Daniel Suarez, 20 to 1. Michael McDowell, 22. Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, and Austin Cindric all at 28 to 1. Austin Dillon, 30. Corey LaJoie, 40. John Hunter Nemechek at 50. Carson Hocevar, 55. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 80. Zane Smith at 100. Todd Gilliland at 200 with Harrison Burton at 200. And they have just warmed up the hot dogs outside. And if anybody knows the South Point and knows where the studio is, it is right next to the hot dog vendor.
And Brendan is smelling lunch, even though
I'm hungry.
And by the way, we are recording this show at 10 o'clock Pacific time on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
But Brendan already is wanting a hot dog.
I've been working bingo all morning since 6. I'm hungry.
I'm really proud of you for working bingo today, by the way. You know, people don't realize that you will work behind the counter on Super Bowl Sunday and take bets. Now you're into the bingo parlor. I mean, one of these days I'm actually going to have you bring me a drink down here probably, right? It'll be a City Light Shine.
It's the big $1 million bingo game, and I was warned that the bingo people are tough. They're easier than the sports guys. I don't know what Diane's talking about.
Okay, good. Well, anyway,
I'm hungry.
As we digress.
Hungry on this page, I'm looking at, can Noah Gragson, look, it's 18-1 for a top 3. Do I think that Stuart Haas is ready for this? Not really. But
here's now think about this, though. Driving for the same team that Kevin Harvick won a number of races, and he is as comfortable on this racetrack as any place he's going to race. He has raced here in the ARCA West, in the regular ARCA, in the Truck Series, in the Xfinity Series, in the Cup Series. He's raced here on a lot of different types of vehicles. He's won here. I think if Noah is going to a place, and even though Las Vegas is his hometown, he's probably got more laps on Phoenix than he's got on the Super Speedway in Las Vegas.
Like I used to say, the West Coast was every time we show up to the West Coast, it's just like Kyle Larson. He may be a California boy, but he considers Vegas one of his type of home tracks. Same thing for him.
You're in the Pacific and the Mountain Time Zone. We're all one big family out here, right?
Absolutely.
So I think Noah that's not crazy to think that Noah could get a top 3. And it goes back to what I said when we talked about the odds to win. Daniel Suarez. Just saying.
Don't dislike it. All right, guys, when we come back, we get to the head-to-heads. We get to our groups and all of our fun stuff in segment 3 on Gaughan Racin'.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in. Brennan Gaughan, Jeff Motley. That's the stinger. That's what they call it. And call it the stinger.
The stinger?
The stinger.
Is that, it's like a radio lingo term?
Stinger.
Or
stinger.
Is that a YouTube term?
TV term, I don't know. Stinger.
Stinger?
The only stinger I remember is
there used to
WCW.
Be a basketball player played for the Hawks. Mike Glenn. They called him the Stinger. Remember him?
Don't remember that one.
That just shows how old I am.
I don't remember that one even. So you got me.
Most of the people behind the glass weren't even born.
They're all looking like they don't know. I say Chuck now and they don't even know who I'm talking about.
Well, Chuck though is on TV every night.
No, I mean Allen Iverson.
Oh, see, I think of Barkley when I say Chuck. See, you're right. Chuck. We don't know.
All right. Welcome back in. Gaughan Racin'. Listen, we have digressed a lot today. We've been to hot dogs, to bingo, to...
It's because we're professionally unprofessional.
Yes, we are. Back on track now, head-to-heads, and we kick off a kind of a boring head-to-head matchup week right here. Normally I expect a lot more exciting head-to-heads. I think it's kind of early season, and they're still not sure where they want to really get things going. Minus 105, minus 125, kind of across the board on everybody except Chase Elliott, Brad K, minus 110 standard juice on both sides. On this one, the only thing I'm looking at here, I really got nothing that makes me say I want to bet a head-to-head this week. Maybe Ryan Blaney at plus 105 to the Kyle Larson, but I'm betting against Kyle Larson, which is a very difficult thing to do.
I agree with you. The other one I'm not totally sure about. There's a couple of plus lines against Christopher Bell with some guys who've had a lot of success here. Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, both are plus 105 to Christopher Bell's minus 125. So there might be a little bit of value there. And, I think we're going to see every week, I think we're going to see a William Byron, Kyle Larson head-to-head, because I think right now what most everyone sees is those are the two guys to beat for the championship right now.
Well, and let's talk about that Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, or Martin Truex. That's a head-to-head matchup, right? That's not who wins the race. That's not who wins the group. That's just head-to-head. If you take Christopher Bell's average finish in the last 10 races, he only got 8 data points. He has an average finish of 17.1. You go against Kyle Busch, his average finish is 9.6, and Martin Truex Jr.'s of 12.6.
So both of them have an average finish better than Christopher Bell.
Much better, and not just not a statistical number, a large number.
It's a large number, and Christopher Bell's, a little bit skewed because of the blown tire. Had finished pretty much last year in the fall race, and so. But you figure Truex and Kyle Busch have probably had some bad luck befall them over the last 10 races as well.
But even before that, it was only 6, 10, 26, a couple 9s, a 24, a 17. That to me makes it a big enough gap for me to look at these numbers and say, okay, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex against C-Bell. I can't say I dislike one of those. Which one do I think will run better? That's what it boils down to. Let's get into our group matchups, Mr. Motley, since this is where this week it seems like most of our fun stuff is going to come from. And we kick off Group A with Kyle Larson at 250, Denny Hamlin 270, and William Byron and Ryan Blaney, both the dogs, at 275.
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me is I think Ryan Blaney, out of these 4 guys, has been the best guy.
So do I.
At Phoenix over the last several races. He's a long shot in the group at plus 275. The value on Ryan Blaney here, I know we don't often jump on Group A, and we kind of but I will tell you, I love me some Ryan Blaney right now.
I can't disagree. Even though you're talking about Kyle Larson, you're talking about Denny Hamlin, you're talking about Byron, who all have amazing stats at this track and what have you done for me lately's. But there's something about Blaney right now at this track that makes me just kind of the Ford, the Dark Horse Mustang has performed very well early on. I do kind of like that Blaney. He is the dog. It's just a little bit better than the rest, but I do kind of like that Blaney pick.
Yeah, if he were the favorite here, I might stay away from him, but I think the value is there with him being the long shot. I really like that.
So do I. There's something in there that makes me scratch my head. I'm not circling it yet, but I'm going to think about it. All right, Group B, we kick off. Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain are your favorites at 250. Martin Truex Jr., 285. Kyle Busch, 290. Okay, here's one. Other than Ross Chastain, I really disagree with Christopher Bell being the favorite in this group. I like the 2 dog numbers. Chastain, I like. Chastain, we talked. This is a track that Ross has done very, very well at as of late. But I do like Kyle Busch or Truex Jr. both at 290.
I think there's great value in those guys. Boy, I really like Chastain to win this group, though. I'm with you, though. I don't see Christopher Bell as being the guy to win in this group. So
how about I do this? I go 105 Kyle Busch over Christopher Bell head-to-head. I go Martin Truex over Christopher Bell head-to-head, and I take Chastain in the group.
You said there'd be no math. And I've got it. You're making me think math on how that's going to work out. But
I think I just came with 3 of my picks.
That Georgetown brain of yours is working faster than my Hokie brain is today. So
I think I got 3 of my picks.
Okay, all right. And you Christopher Bell wins the race, and you're.
Oh no, Seabell does great. I just screwed myself 3 points. That's...
so you're going on the don't line. You're betting on the don't line on Christopher Bell. What you're saying. Look, I like the value again, but boy, Chastain here. I just think Chastain wins this group.
Okay, yeah, he blew the tire and crashed early at Phoenix, but even before that, a 6th place, a 10th place, a 26th place, no laps led. It ain't like he was setting the world on fire. I don't know. I might have cut my picks. Might have found some. All right, let's get to Group C. Group C, how about this? Group C worked his way, Group C fairly early in his career, in my opinion. We have the favorite of Group C, Ty Gibbs at 255, with Joey Logano, co-favorite, 255. Tyler Reddick, 275, and Chase Elliott, 285.
All right, the one guy that just leaps off this group at me, Tyler Reddick at plus 275 here. I love Tyler Reddick here at plus 275.
Joey Logano, 7 top 10s, 2 wins, and 4 top 5s in the last 10 races. Average finish 9.2, though. I mean, okay.
As I said, I love Tyler Reddick.
I get Tyler Reddick, but I'm looking at that Joey Logano right there. He finished 11th and 10th in the 2 races here last year. He still Logano. I don't dislike Reddick, but only 2 top 5s in 8 races for Reddick.
I know, and I think probably what we've seen also lately is the Toyotas have not been quite as good here for whatever reason, and I'm not sure.
Haven't won a championship with this new car.
Well, and I'm not sure why, but at the end of the day, Elliott, I can't get behind yet. Logano, they seem to be struggling. I think this almost comes down to me between Reddick and Gibbs, because Gibbs does look like he's racing with more confidence. But look, Reddick was really good last week. Reddick races with confidence. He's just a guy who races with confidence. I'm all in on Reddick in this group.
I'm writing my picks down right now, and I think we're going to have some competition in our picks this week.
Good.
All right. Says the guy who kicked your butt last year. Don't talk about this year. Don't talk about that. We're not talking about that. Let's go to Group D.
Who likes to say, what have you done for me lately?
How about Group D?
What have you done for me lately?
How about Group D?
I'll tell you what you've done. You're in last place. That's what you've done.
Let's go to Group D lately. Group D has the favorite is Chris Buescher is the co-favorite with his team owner, Brad Keselowski, both at 260, and Chase Briscoe at 260. And then the dog, Alex Bowman, 290. I'm sorry, this right here. What has Chase Briscoe done? Yes, he's got the win here.
And Keselowski hasn't won in more than 100 races.
And Alex Bowman, I just talked about him earlier if you want to take that long shot on Alex Bowman. But who's been the best overall in the last bunch of races, all over the place, not just at this track?
It's definitely Chris Buescher. He is the favorite here. One of the 3. I guess it's three of them are favorites here. This group scares me because I will not be shocked to see Alex Bowman go out and have a strong run here.
And neither would I. But if I'm taking, what have you done for me lately? If I'm taking the overall package of what's been going on, Chris Buescher is by far more than a 260 favorite. Chris Buescher would be a 225 favorite to me if these groups, if I was setting the odds.
And that team seems like it's been a little bit snake bit this year too.
Yeah.
So maybe they're due to break out because he certainly had some bad luck. This group just scares me. That maybe this is my group that I'm like.
Who's the guy that's cashed more tickets on this show the last 4 years?
Chris Buescher.
And he's back down in Group D. He was back in Group B a couple times recently. Down in Group D. I kind of like that one. All right.
Move on.
Moving on. Moving on to Group E. Group E, we kick off with Austin Dillon, your co-favorite, with Daniel Suarez and Brian Preece all at 260, and Michael McDowell 290. Tough one to handicap here.
Well, one thing I'm going to say is last week, you and I were both all in on Michael McDowell, thinking he was a layup to win his group. And
I believe I called him my lock.
And that lock got picked pretty quickly. And I'm looking at that Group E right now. Oh, you like that?
I like that one.
Oh,
like that one.
Well, all right then. I guess every now and then I get one in.
I like that one.
I don't like this group. I don't like Preece here.
I don't like Preece at all.
But I can make a case for Dillon, Suarez, and McDowell. And I kind of go back again to what I said earlier in the show. Suarez, to me, is a guy who could really surprise and come up and have a very, very strong run just because we know that the Trackhouse teams are going to be good. And Daniel's racing with some confidence, and he's racing with no pressure.
Yeah, he's got the win. He can absolutely have some things happen. McDowell finished. That's why I call him McDougal. He finished 9th.
It's easier to
in
say.
This race in this race or in the playoff race last year. So he finished 13th in this one. That average finish wise over those guys, Daniel Suarez being the outlier.
It's also his hometown track too.
Yeah,
McDowell and Bowman both. It's their home track.
I kind of like that dog there. I know
it's
I wouldn't
not Martin Truex Jr.'s home track.
You sure it's not one of his?
No,
you positive?
I'm positive Phoenix is not Martin Truex Jr. one of his home tracks.
All right, just making sure.
Just saying.
So I kind of like McDowell as that dog. Just consistency-wise, he is the most consistent. Daniel Suarez, like you said, racing with no pressure. But I kind of like the McDowell thing.
And see, I think where my struggle comes in is the words you put in there, kinda. See, I kind of like Dillon. I kind of like Suarez, and I kind of like McDowell, which means I kind of don't like this group in trying to pick it because I just think that now you could say, okay, there's the value is on Michael McDowell because he's plus 290, and the other guys are plus 260. But I would stay away from this group.
Okay, well, I kind of will move on. Group F, Austin Cindric 265, Corey LaJoie 265, Carson Hocevar and John Hunter both at 270s. Tough.
Hocevar won his group last week.
I know.
I'm just saying. And Cindric driving a teammate of Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. You'd think at some point, talk about another team that's in a team camp that can't figure it out. I'm not sure there.
I don't like it.
Wow. Man of many words, huh? Don't like the group at all?
I'll give you more words when we come back. Last section. When we come back on Gaughan Racing.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu. Plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
Welcome back in. Last segment on Gaughan Racing. Jeff Motley, Brennan Gaughan, and I just poo-pooed Group F, which we normally don't poo-poo. I just poo-pooed it. I poo-pooed it.
You pretty much acted like it didn't even exist.
I poo-pooed it. I can't. They're 265s, 270s.
For all of our wonderful viewers on YouTube and all of our wonderful listeners on Sirius XM, Brendan does not care about Group F. He does not care if you want to bet Group F because he doesn't even want to talk about Group F.
It's just I got nothing there. I got nothing.
You know, you have not appreciated Group F ever since Chris Buescher got taken out of Group F.
Not true. Not true at all. Lies. I tell you.
It used to be your way of making money on low-hanging fruit.
No, there's no low-hanging fruit that I can make money on that one.
Oh, it's all low-hanging fruit.
That's all. All right, let's get to our manufacturer's pick. We kick off with Chevrolet, still your favorite at 130. God, we're professionally unprofessional. Toyota at 180, and Ford's tightening the gap at plus 240. And Mr. Motley, it is too close to call for me right now with these guys. They're just all of them run very well right now.
Which is part of the reason why Ford is very intriguing at plus 240, knowing you've got Ryan Blaney among the Ford group.
True.
You know, I don't necessarily know that I look around and see that many other Fords that I see winning the race, Logano possibility, but I think the fact that you're getting Ryan Blaney here, and you talked about the fact that they've all run well, that's the one that's worth taking the big risk on, I think, is Ford.
I don't disagree with that. Because it's the long shot of the group and because you have Blaney, but really Blaney's the only, maybe Logano you can talk about a little bit, but Blaney's really the only one in the conversation being that strong. But I don't disagree. But I think that all three manufacturers, and honestly, for the first time, and remember last year Ford, man, we had written them off half the season until Chris Buescher
started winning races. Yep. Exactly.
So that was a tough one for me. Now, championship odds, it's once again, guys, we're not going to cover it much right now. We'll cover it when we get those big winners, like we had a Suarez who moved.
One guy who we've seen creep down a little bit is Ty Gibbs.
Has he?
I believe Ty Gibbs was more like about 35-1 when we started. He's down to 25-1 because he has been running better.
And I would say that's about right. He's come down to at least that much. I don't disagree with that.
I think what would be the key right now is looking to see who else is out there right now that you would be willing, that has a larger number. I mean, we see Bubba Wallace
Ross Chastain
40-1. And I guess those numbers are obviously 16-1 on Chastain. That's probably a pretty good number. Kyle Busch, even at 14-1. I think he had a very good car at Vegas. He made a mistake, and then his pit crew compounded that mistake on the last pit stop, which really, really kind of ruined the day. And I say he made a mistake. Okay, he was over the line by an inch or two. I'm not sure how the crew doesn't see that he's over the line by an inch or two, pushes that car back before they service the car. Then he loses, 6 or 7 spots on pit road instead of losing 30 spots by having to start at the rear of the field. So that right there was very unfortunate because I think Kyle has actually run pretty well already this year in all 3 races.
He has. And he was, truck race, he was mad.
It just seemed like that. And he was teammates to Raja, right? Wasn't that the same?
I think so.
But
he was not happy.
I just don't understand why that truck was just so ill handling.
He was running 4th and 5th all day long. But for Kyle Busch, normally it's 4th and 5th. Lengths
but
in
when
front
you
of the
see
car behind
Raja out there winning his first race, and virtually you'd think the same equipment, something was off.
So we'll get to what normally is my favorite part of the show, which today I think we're just going to wrap up. Say thank you for joining us on Gaughan Racing, and we all
got one right last week. At least we didn't completely get skunked.
We did not get skunked. Each of us had a.
You and I had the same one. Correct?
We both had Logano versus Elliott as a head-to-head winner, and the
pit crew had Buescher
over Bowman, which we all got. Hey, listen, head-to-heads. What did I tell you about head-to-heads, Motley?
But you came up. Which one? I wish I could. The one that you came up short on, I believe.
It was Dylan.
It was Dylan. Host of our won that group by one spot over Austin Dillon.
Thanks.
Pretty
Appreciate
remarkable.
It. That's not what I was really looking for there. But so as our usual, Mr. Motley, we have to go worst to first and take like Deion Sanders, take your shots right now while you can. I'm a few points behind you. Season total. I mean, come on. I'm not terrible season total. I'm only minus. What am I at? Minus 5.7.
You just compared yourself to the Colorado Buffaloes. Okay.
No, to Deion Sanders.
Well, who's he coach?
But what he said, kick me when I'm down because you better do it now. Because I can tell you I ain't going to be the pit crew from last year. So, my picks for this week, Mr. Motley.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
I am sure. I am going to go into the head-to-heads with the one I talked about. I am going to go Kyle Busch versus Seabell. I got to keep them head-to-heads in there. I think that those are the way that, once again, I punch and Judy'd my way last year to a nice, solid deal. I almost wanted to do the don't line, my little don't pick that I was talking about, but I'm just too afraid to commit all the way to that don't line. So I'm not going to do that because it never really works out for us. Then I am going to go into Group B, and I'm going to pick Ross Chastain to win Group B. I think that's that to me is that you like you said, he's been so strong at this track, running so well. I like that one. I am going to go into Group C and pick Joey Logano. I don't care what you say about that. That is my feeling there. I am going to also take Chris Buescher in Group D. And then I'm going McDowell in Group E. I'm taking that. I'm going to
ride that McDowell train.
I'm riding the McDowell train, baby.
All right. Good for you on riding the McDowell train. Okay. I am going to take a top 3.
Oh, the pit crew gets to go last this year so far, huh?
Yeah. Pit crew's winning right now. We didn't even really talk about the standings. But I'm going to go in the top 3s. Taking Martin Truex Jr. for top 3.
You like how I guided us past that?
I like that plus 3.
Talk about
did that, which I'm okay with since I'm not in first place right now. But you can promise if I'm in first place, you would not have been guided through there.
Got it.
But anyway, I'm kind of hitchhiking on Truex a little bit because I'm also going to take Truex at a plus 105 over Christopher Bell in the head-to-heads. My other threes are going to be in the groups. And a rarity, I'm going to go to Group A, and I am taking Ryan Blaney in Group A. You and I are going to agree in Group B. I'm going with Ross Chastain in Group B. But we're not going to agree in Group C, where
Good.
I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick in Group C, head-to-head against you in your Joey Logano pick.
I like the head-to-head battle. I love it when we go head-to-head because I always win those. Just saying.
I'm just glad at least last week on one that we picked together, we both
actually
got
got
it
it
right
right.
because that's better than getting it wrong, obviously.
Then we have, of course, our pit crew picks. And the pit crew, who has been kicking our butt this week, they are for the season. So, good job, pit crew. And the pit crew is going to take Chase Elliott for a top 3. They did not listen to... They do have Chase Elliott in a top 3, which they have not listened to me. He is plus 400 for that. They do have Joey Logano in a top 3, which he is a plus 330, which I do like that one. Then they're going to go to the groups. They've got a Kyle Busch in Group B. I'm going head-to-head against them, but I do like that Kyle Busch pick. I do like it. They're going head-to-head against us, Jeff. But
Bring it on.
It's a good pick, though, I got to say.
It's a good pick.
They're going Brad Keselowski Group D, a la the Wyatt pick from the pit crew last year. I think that Ann maybe is calling him, trying to get advice if they got Brad K in that Group D. And then they have given us Chevy for the top manufacturer.
Well, it's not exactly going out on a limb to take Chevy.
No, but I kind of chuckle because I don't think they listen to our show.
They only produce our show. Are you saying they sit back there with their earplugs
I don't think they're back there listening to the show, unless they're making these picks early. Which, if they're making them early, then kudos to them. But
Well, we're kind of making ours pretty early too. We're getting,
I just mean
remind
like
everybody
early, like
we're
before
picking
the
this
show.
on Thursday. Wait till after qualifying on Saturday before you put your bets in.
I just mean like before the show. Like I don't think they're like us where I make the show and we kind of pick through as I go through. They're give it to her. Dan's picking these early, but very very Wyatt-esque with that Keselowski pick.
Well, Wyatt can't be paying attention right now. He's over doing the UNLV women's basketball game.
Top 25 ranked
Top 25.
UNLV women's basketball team.
They're actually in I think the Mountain West women's tournament starts next week here in Las Vegas, and Lindy and her crew. And by the way, Lindy LaRocque is the coach there. So her father was the head basketball coach at Durango High School and taught both Kurt and Kyle Busch when they were in school. In fact, they have 2 retired jerseys in their gym. Neither were basketball
players.
One is a baseball player, Ryan Ludwig, who played for the St. Louis Cardinals. The other one is not actually a retired jersey. There's a retired hood, and Kurt Busch's hood from when he raced for Roush Racing is hanging in the high school at Durango. But anyway, it's interesting that Lindy LaRocque's father was their teacher and coach. Little trivia for you there. That
Gorman has too many of those. We don't retire that stuff. Sorry. But you're speaking of UNLV coaches. Did anybody catch what Coach Odom did last weekend during the NASCAR race?
By the way, I was at the basketball game on Tuesday night, and I was sitting with Coach Odom.
How's he feeling?
He's
a little bit of a headache?
Oh, no, believe it or not. He said he was staggered. He said the blow to the head was a glancing blow. He said what he really hurt was his hamstring.
Glancing blow. I can tell you this. We had a meeting with...
I'll bet he's never getting on a bull again.
We had a meeting with my Mr. Growney, the general manager, my father, and in our meetings, we basically have said this is the second time we've done the, hey, let's see if somebody can ride a bull challenge. And I can officially tell you that challenge is retired. We will no longer be bringing out the bull and have somebody that thinks they want to try to ride a bull go ride it, because as he was staggering to the chutes and the clowns had to grab him, it did not look good. We did not want to kill Coach Odom.
I can say that literally, I spent
kudos to doing it.
I spent a lot of time with him Tuesday night. He's fine.
Good. That makes us happier because we were all very nervous. But how about the guts to do it though, folks? Coach Odom, UNLV's coach, of course, who we're talking about, not racing related, but he did ride
one of the best guys you'll ever meet.
He did ride a bull at the Tough Heatman's Championship.
But he's not a bull rider.
No. So it was Jeff. We had a great weekend. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, always one of the best hosts. The Neon Garage, I brag about it so much. The best garage in the sport, not because I did this for 25 years, right? There is no garage like what you guys have.
I appreciate it, but it's only as good as the people that run it. We had a great weekend and look forward to doing it with you guys in the fall.
Gotcha. We will be back. We got next week when we come back and talk about everything from Phoenix and, of course, lead into the Bristol Motor Speedway. You going to be at Bristol?
No.
No?
No.
You don't have to go help? Bristol has staff? They got full staff at Bristol. But Oh,
You
way
run-
over. Bye. Peace out.